All right, let's mix some good news into here.
There was a lot of excitement on the State House steps this morning. Ride-share drivers have unionized in Massachusetts. This is the first time a state has recognized that kind of union ever. It's also the largest unionization since the 1940s. Our Manash Kungwari is at the State House with more on the ceremony today.
For the state, this is a big deal. A recognition from the state's Department of Labor Relations was how we got to this point. But we couldn't even have thought about these rideshare drivers becoming a union if it wasn't for you. We got to go back to 2024, and more specifically, I'm talking to Mass voters. On the ballot, if you'll remember, was question number 3. Voters had the option of voting yes or no. Yes meant that it allowed these rideshare drivers to unionize. Well, it passed with 54% of the vote, setting the stage for today. The official establishment of the first rideshare drivers union in the country, the App Drivers Union, otherwise known as the ADU. Governor Maura Healey is happy to see this after she personally.
So basically, 70,000 rideshare Uber, Lyft drivers, um, food delivery apps were allowed to unionize across all of Massachusetts, making one of the bigger unions in the states. Um, Huge win. They're obviously going to get a ton of benefits to being in a union and being able to collectively bargain, collectively strike if they need to. They might be able to extract higher fees. If you've ever used a rideshare, you know exactly how much cut, or maybe you don't because they try and hide it, from goes towards Uber and Lyft and away from the drivers themselves. So they're doing all this extra work, and then the people that set up the apps that don't do any of the hard work of actually getting people and materials to different places don't get any of that benefit. So it's great on them. They're finally getting some of those. And one thing that this always reminds me of is the Yanis decision, which is a Supreme Court decision not a lot of people have heard about. Uh, Yanis versus AFSCME. And it was back in 2018, which basically said, and this is insane, if you're somebody who likes the free market, who's ostensibly on the right, this should be crazy to you. But it prohibits public sector people from collecting agency fees or fee sharing for non-union members. What that basically means is they have to provide union services even if they aren't a union member. So if you um, work for the government and you just decide to not pay your union dues and you get in trouble, you can still come crying to the union and they're required to represent you. I don't know any other business where you can force the business to provide you their goods and services when you overtly say you're not going to pay. But the overwhelmingly Republican Supreme Court has decided that unions need to work for free, a detriment that no other business would face because they don't like unions. Specifically, it's not just that they'll make it um, as difficult for unions to operate as they would any other business. They put them on a whole other level where they have to operate at a handicap and still succeed, which we do see because even government unions still make gains year over year from non-unionized sections of government as far as yearly COLA, cost of living increases, and inflation increases as well. And so basically, good on these guys. They're going to be able to get more protections. They're going to be able to push back on pricing, split shares. Uh, when conditions are too bad, they're going to be able to push back on that. Absolutely fantastic. It's wild to me that this had to go to a state ballot measure before they get it. No other union would have to do that except maybe a state union. Um, and even then, most of the time, those are handled behind the scenes. But so this private industry needed to do a full ballot measure, get that passed, and then after it was passed, they were finally able to unionize. Um, Gas. We're gonna see what they get up to in the future. I'm sure they'll be a rowdy bunch. Thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate it. And I got some more videos for you here. I'll be putting some out every week on news, interest stories, and some gaming as well. I might even throw in a little personal stuff for you guys if you're interested. But yeah, go ahead and check those out. Like and subscribe if you in fact did, and if you don't, leave me a hateful comment. Happy to answer them. Bye.